Alright guys, so this is your last video with me for the year, and I'm feeling, it's Thursday, so tomorrow's your last day of school. I'm feeling kind of emotional about it for a lot of different reasons. Obviously because we can't be together, and I wish we could, but also because, you know, it's my first semester with you guys. I feel like I've been with y'all for a long time, and I mean that in a good way. I feel like I've just been a part of the Cathedral family for forever, and it was like there was a spot that was saved for me, and I got to just come and sit in my spot. So part of the reason for that is obviously the amazing administration that we have and leadership that we have, but that's also because of you guys. Y'all are amazing students, each and every one of you, and I am just so honored and proud to get to be your teacher. Okay, I had to change where I was because I needed an outlet because my computer was about to die. So, anyways, with that being said, this video is going to be a little bit sappy because, you know, I love you guys, and we don't get to be together. And so this is everything that I would say if we were having a class party and I would give you cupcakes that I made and just tell each and every one of you what I love about each of you, but we can't do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you why I'm at Cathedral in the first place, how I got there, and I'll give you the very abbreviated version of that story because it's actually a pretty miraculous story. And then the second half of this video is going to be what I love about your class in particular, because I really truly love you guys equally and uniquely. You all bring something special and something different to my life that I absolutely love. So let me start by saying God totally radically sent me to Cathedral without me even like mentally prepared that was going to happen. To kind of give you an idea, at Thanksgiving I knew that I was coming to work there, but at Halloween I hadn't even considered changing my job. So the current job that I was at my church. So you know, that's a pretty big shift. That's only 4 weeks difference, and suddenly I was jumping into being a high school teacher at a Christian school. So let me back up a little bit. So during the summer, I was super pregnant, and God was working on a lot of spiritual stuff with me for a lot of different reasons, because I was becoming a mom and lots of different changes in my life. But I also just felt like God was moving me in some sense. Like it was almost like He was telling me, get ready for something big to happen. And part of that was becoming a mom. And so I just assumed like, oh, He's just preparing me to become a mom. But even after Ireland was born, there was just something in me that was like, get ready. Like another big thing is about to happen. And so in the summer, I was a little bit confused by it. I was a little bit emotional about it because I was pregnant, and it just seemed like I couldn't settle and all that kind of stuff. And my friend told me to write a list of dreams that I had, and I'm not really a big dreamer. I just completely honest with you. I think some of us struggle with dreaming because we're afraid of being disappointed if it doesn't work out, and so I just don't really dream. So I've always just been like I'm going to do what I need to do, what God asked me to do, but I'm not really going to, you know, sit and daydream and give it to God or whatever. And so my friend encouraged me to do that, and she was like, you know, write a list of all the things. If you could just tell God, like, hey, this is what's on my heart, this is what I want to do, what would you ask Him? And the first thing at the top of my dream list that I made, reluctantly, but the first thing was being a high school science teacher at a Christian school. And the reason for that was because I love God's relationship with science, because there's that whole misconception that you have to choose either God or science, and you don't have to do that. God uses science as a way to show His love for us, just like He does through music or through art or through English or history or whatever. Science is one of God's love languages, and it happens to be one of the love languages that speaks very deeply to me. And so I love God, I love science, I love theology, and I love my high schoolers at my church. And I was like, how could I blend all of those things that I love together? And it was like, well, I want to be a high school science teacher. And I had always wanted to be a teacher, but I kind of pushed it aside for several different reasons, and I think God knew best. But so anyways, so I wrote it at the top of my dream list, and I was like, no, there's no way that's going to happen. See, I just wrote this dream list, and none of it's going to come true, and I'm going to be disappointed, and blah, blah, blah. So I just put it aside. Well, Ireland was born, and so that took up a lot of my time, being a new mom and never sleeping and all of that fun stuff. And then in October, or actually after Halloween, so early November, I was working at the church at the time, and my dad let me know, like, hey, we're going to have to let you go. We just can't afford you right now. Our church floods, and so there's a bunch of different expenses we have to pay and all this kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay. And I surprisingly had like a peace about it because I felt like God had been kind of prepping me for that for a while. Like, you're going to move. I just didn't realize it was going to be my job, especially away from my dad and my husband that I worked with at church. So I was like, okay. And so I just was trying to come up with all these solutions and thinking about what I wanted to do and I applied for a bunch of different jobs and didn't hear anything back. And then my friend reminded me about that dream list, and she was like, maybe you should give that a shot. And I was like, yeah, that's dumb. I'm not going to do that. And then I took a look at it, and the first thing on my list was high school science teacher at a Christian school. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just try it. The worst thing that can happen is no, right? So I contacted Cathedral because I remember playing you guys at Northwoods, and I had already met Mr. Stewart and everything. Again, that's a story for another time. I met with him a couple years ago. But so anyways, I called Cathedral up, and I was like, I know that this is a long shot, but if you're still in need of a high school science teacher, I would love to be considered for the position. And I think it was like 2 days later, I was sitting there with Mr. Stewart and Dr. Schultz, because Dr. Schultz, he has his ministry that he does so amazingly, Kingdom Education, and he was like, I really am here until I felt like the right person came along to take it from me. And so it was like within an instant, suddenly I had this new job where I was going to be a high school science teacher. And so it was pretty crazy. And so obviously I started right after Thanksgiving, so it was really quick. And I didn't realize how much I was going to fall in love with it. I knew I was going to like it. Like, from the moment I walked in for my interview and meeting Dr. Schultz and meeting some of the faculty, I was like, I know I'm going to like it here. But I didn't know that I was going to like totally fall head over heels in love with it. And I remember sitting in the back and observing all of the classes, and you guys thought I was a weirdo, and I'm sorry about that. But I just remember thinking, like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. And so anyways, then when Dr. Schultz officially left and I took over, it was just like I just kept falling more and more in love with the school and with you guys and just everything that God was doing there, from chapel to the play to lunch to you guys messing around in the hallway, like all of it. I just loved every single aspect of it. And so obviously I was so sad when we had to go into quarantine because I felt like I'm missing face-to-face time with you guys when I didn't get a whole lot of face-to-face time in the first place, But so anyways, all that to say is I want y'all to know how much I prayed about this job and how long I've waited to do what it is I do. People ask, like, what is your dream job, like on those Instagram things? And honestly, I am living my dream job. And as sappy as that might sound, and as corny as that might sound, and as awkward as that might make you feel, you guys are part of the reason why my dream came true, because y'all are so wonderful, and I love each and every one of you. You make my job so much fun, and I just love you guys. So On that note, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I love about each of your classes. So, okay, my physics crew, 11th grade, man, you guys were really quiet at first, and so to be completely honest, your class had me the most nervous. I thought, I was like, oh, ninth grade will like me, and 10th grade will like me, but I don't know about 11th grade. And so I was really nervous about teaching your class, and then I think it was probably within the first week or two, suddenly we found common ground with Star Wars, and then it was like it took off from there, and then it just grew into something awesome, an awesome class environment with you guys. I loved Roller Coaster Wednesdays with y'all. I loved arguing about Star Wars. Kylo Ren is Bae. I love our talk of our Carowinds trip, and your love for Brian just makes me laugh. I love that some of y'all did the play. That was amazing. This is hard. I just wish I could see your faces, but just thank you so much for being amazing students. Thank you for making my job just epic, like just epic. Y'all are amazing.